This is the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Any Percent Guide. We're on to the next part where we'll be doing Trunk Twister, the first auto-scroller. And by auto-scroller I mean that we're going to be in a minecart. So there's nothing we can really do to increase the speed of the stage. It kind of goes along at its own pace. You know, it's pretty hard to make anything faster. I'm going to go ahead and do it the way I would normally do it in the route. And then I'll go back and explain a couple of tricks and some of the reasoning behind why I'm going to be jumping quite a lot. This is definitely a stage where I like to relax and have fun. The first three stages are, you go through them so many times that you try and maximize every single bit of time save that you can get out of them. So this is definitely a stage where I like to goof around. And it may be subtle, you may be seeing it in some places, but I'm not just hopping because it's fun to do, although sometimes that does happen. I'm also hopping because it is speeding up the level ever so slightly. If you go to time attack, you can actually see the top times for this stage all do very ridiculous looking things that look like they make no sense whatsoever, but top time has top time for a reason. I am never going to compete for top time on one of these stages. It's just not worth it to me. It becomes a frame war, and earlier I mentioned that frames are something that you want to be saving if you can. They do make your run a little bit faster. But when you're trying to get the absolute best time, frames are where you start to look after you've gotten all the same strats together. And that is not a fun speed run to me, to be fighting over that. Also, as a word of note, I am collecting tokens, not on purpose anymore. It's not necessary in the route. But if you do intend to go to the shop, there are a lot of tokens all throughout every stage, and you want to get around 90 by the time you get to World 3. That's if you intend to do shop strats. You never want to mash if you're trying to go quick, by the way. I was just doing it because it's fun. Alright, so that is, that's 1-4. Pretty basic, straightforward level. It's more than anything else, just don't die. It's very hard to screw up and lose a ton of time. Just don't die, because that's how you'll lose a lot of time. So let's go back in the stage and explain why I'm jumping so much, and a little bit about the intro. The intro is really the only place where you'll have to lose and gain a lot of time. Now, because we just finished Canopy Chaos, we still have Cranky. Cranky's definitely the man you want when you want to go fast. There is a certain skip at the beginning of this stage. Now, when you start this stage, you're going to be rolling, you want to jump around here. What I like to do for my setup is I do a full pogo off of the first bird, and then I just hold A onto the second bird. Now, when you hold A, you're actually, you're like, it's like when you hold A off of regular jump. This, like, you're fully holding it, you're getting a full jump. You tap A, you get a light jump. If you bop off of an enemy and you're holding A, you're staying in the air longer. A will increase your hang time. So what you want to do is you want to roll to here, do a full pogo off the first bird, hold A off the second bird, and then there's a way to skip the barrel. Normally you would be jumping into the barrel. As you can see, when you land on this, it starts to drop. There's a barrel, and if I go over there, this thing will completely drop, and it'll make the skip entirely impossible. But when you skip the barrel, you're actually saving a couple of those frames, because you're landing on the leftmost side of the cart, and it just kind of like zips you forward. The game just pulls you into the cart. So this is a small trick that you can do with Cranky very easily. You just want to pogo on the rightmost side of the platform that I'm standing on, right where the last hole is, and where there's a giant like iron screw or nugget or whatever. That's where you want to pogo. So if you did the A tap, you'd be doing a small roll jump right here, boom, and then you land in the cart. In time attack, if you go on, I'll show it off later, but basically, since you don't have, like, the fastest way of going in there is not picking up the barrel. There's a barrel at the beginning of the stage, you ignore it, because it's most of it's just an auto-scroll, you don't need a buddy. You'll see them rolling underneath the barrel, because that's how you do it with solo Donkey Kong. So, why am I jumping so much? Well, going up and downhill, well, going uphill specifically will slow you down. The game like has this automatic way of measuring like how fast Donkey Kong's going. It tries to make sense. You're going up a hill, naturally you would slow down. So what you try to do to counteract that is you jump uphill, because that retains your momentum and it ignores the game's ability to try and slow you down. So whenever you're going down a hill, cool, jump at the bottom of your hills, okay? And then any other time, you just dial these jumps, they're completely unnecessary. Now this, I'm trying to land on the middle of the plane, because if you land on the left side of the plane starts to tilt, and then you're going uphill, you're creating an uphill slope. So if you jump and land on the middle of the plane, and then you ride it down, it'll create a downhill slope, which will make you go a little bit faster. Jump at the end of the plane so you don't fall off and die. Ride, jump. And then I'm just jumping because it's fun. There's a K here, I'm just gonna grab that because I can. There's a slope, ride it a bit, jump, jump. Lots of just jumping for fun. This actually does nothing as well. Here again, I landed on the left side of the plane. You can't land in the middle of this plane, so I just do a small jump to prevent it from tilting too much. I land in the middle, there's not a lot left, so I jump before anything else happens. Then I'm just jumping for fun again. Jump at the bottom of the hill, jump, jump. Now here's a hill where you're going up. Note that unlike Donkey Kong Country Returns, you have 2 hearts in all vehicles. So the game's a lot more lenient, which means you can damage boost. When you're going up this hill, you're going to notice that there's a turbine. You can jump completely through it, you'll take 1 heart of damage, you won't die, nothing bad will happen, so you jump, jump. You'll even get the O for free. Bopping off the enemies is just for fun. Now specifically, after that last bop, you'll notice that the hill is about to go at an angle. So you don't want to jump before you pass over that angle, you jump afterwards. And you'll do 1 full jump, or tap jump, up to you, it doesn't matter, like, you just ride it down, it's fine. Just be careful, make sure you don't die above all else. There is a heart coming up, so I like to ride it, jump, jump, jump again. You have to duck under there, jump again. I just keep jumping from here. Jump up this hill, very important. Now if you'll notice, the pause menu is covering it up, but there's a trail of bananas riding down the hill. You want to jump down this hill at the very top, because the hill has this, when you ride the tracks, you're going to conform to the tracks. So if you're going straight down versus continually going straight forward, you'll be losing more time. So you want to jump so that you'll just go straight forward. You'll continue to go instead of riding the track itself. However, if you do collect 4 bananas, that's my visual cue, 4 bananas, you'll gain the speed from going down the hill, and then you jump. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I jump. And then I just like to do a couple tap jumps. I like to try and land on this just like that. That's just for fun. Now if you want to get that in, you can actually just ride off that, no biggie. And you definitely want to be careful more than anything else. I'm just doing like as many jumps as I can just because it's fun. It doesn't really do anything. Just make sure that you jump and don't get hit by that. What else you want to do is up to you. There's a hill that you want to try and jump over. Duck under this. You don't have to come up. I just do it because it's fun. You can get that puzzle piece if you really want to, but I think that one will actually slow down. Now, this section, you want to make sure that you're jumping all the way up the hill, and you want to make sure that you have both of your hearts. Otherwise, you have to be careful. Normally, you will damage boost through, because if you land on top of the box, you actually slow down a bit. The box is slowly being dragged left, so it'll drag you with it. You want to make sure that you don't land on these boxes, crash through them if anything. You will miss the G, but don't worry, it's pretty easy to pick up if you really want it. Now, I like to collect 3 of those bananas before I jump, just to make sure that I'm getting as much of the downward motion of the hill before it flings you up, and then you can jump over it. Riding it out all the way will slow you down noticeably, and if you jump over it, you're just missing the speed that you would gain from going down the hill. You can just jump up a couple times up this hill, no big deal. And then you'll be dropping down. Mash A to skip the cutscene. Again, a little speed from the hill. Jump, jump. You can just hold down. Make sure you jump after the turbine. Jump again. And that's Trunk Twister. Lots of fun. I do love this stage. Very simple, very basic. Shouldn't cause you very much trouble, a whole lot of trouble. Most of the time, and embarrassingly, during races, the runners and I will. Someone sometimes dies on this stage. So it's pretty painful, but it's not the end of the world. Now, I won't be doing the time attack because I noticed that, like I said, there's not a whole lot there's not a whole lot going on here. But I am going to show off someone doing the strat where you're doing the barrel skip, but solo Donkey Kong. World's boss. Okay. It used to be Lord Gamal. Lord Gamal used to have the times for like all of World 1 and World 2. I don't know who this is, so that's impressive. I can't believe someone actually saved even that much tiny bit of time. You can see that everyone has the same second. Look at me, I'm not even more than a second away, and I'm down at rank 40. This is definitely not the this is not the speedrun stage for me. I will be more than happy with just getting my usual time. Alright, look at him go. Bounce, bounce. There it is. And as easy as that may look, try it. Just try it. You will more than likely get into the barrel, which means you fail the barrel skip, or you'll bonk against the wall and die. It's very sad. I'm so sorry. That's why it's not worth going for the solo Donkey Kong barrel skip. Do the one with Cranky Kong, it's very easy, and it still saves you the same amount of time. Going for every possible frame save, look at this, like... I don't even want to try to emulate this. It's not the life for me. Anyway, thank you for watching. On the next part, we will be doing the first boss of this game, Pompey the Preposterous. Take care.